Hi, my name is Brian Crouch, CTO of IT Solutions, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to come to our site today and to check out this webinar that we're having on Dell AppAssure. It's an amazing product. We definitely push it to as many people as want to use it, and we find that it does an absolutely terrific job. Once again, my name is Brian Crouch, CTO here. Our moderator is Elena Maddox, and she's our marketing manager. She does a terrific job for us. And after this, if you were to have any questions or anything like that, you're more than welcome to get with either her or I as far as that deal goes. So we'll just go ahead and jump right in. Basically, I've set up a AppAssure Core is what we've got. And basically what an AppAssure Core is if you look here, you can basically run this on a file server that you have. And now the recommended setup for this is definitely Windows Server 2008. It'll also run on 2008 R2. You do need a minimum of at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, and you do have to be on a 64-bit operating system for this to work. And so just going through some of the things that we want to do, we just want a brief overview basically of what AppAssure is. Now in the past, I'm sure we're talking to a bunch of different people. Some of you may be IT managers, some of you could be just administrative assistants, administrative contacts, and maybe not know so much on the technology side of things. And anybody that's been in IT knows that backups have come a very, very long way, and AppAssure is definitely full of features and benefits. You know, in the past, you would have to have typically two different backup solutions, one for your on-site backup and then another one for your off-site backup. One of the cool things about AppAssure is the fact that you can run everything locally here as a local backup, provided you have the space that you need, but you can also replicate this off to somewhere else. And there are third-party vendors that can accept AppAssure data to go into their stuff, and we have partners that we can work with. So if you work with us on that level, we can actually provide you your full backup solution, and the only people that you have to deal with is us. We manage your AppAssure for you, your on-site and your off-site. We're just going to go over some brief overview deals here about AppAssure. One of the features of AppAssure is its true scale architecture. Basically what that means is this is as scalable as you want it to be. You can put hundreds and hundreds of repositories that we're looking at here. We'll go over that in just a few. You can add many, many machines to it. These are basically a bunch of kind of some fake, some real servers. We've got alerts down here, and the fact that I've put this in kind of like a testing environment, a lot of this is going to fail, a lot of it's not going to be right just because it's not set up the way that we really need it to be. So what I'd like to do is just not only go over the features, but I'd kind of like to just go through and show you a few of the things. Now at the heart of AppAssure definitely is the machines that you protect. And what you can do is from AppAssure basically, you can see that this runs on a web interface. I'm actually using Internet Explorer 11 on this, and so it is compatible. I will tell you that Internet Explorer does work better than most other browsers whenever it comes to AppAssure management. And so basically, ITS BKP, that is this backup server, that is this AppAssure core. And let's say that we have a domain controller, or we have a link server, or maybe even a VMware vCenter, for example. And what you can do is if you go to those machines and you can browse to the URL of where your AppAssure is, you can download and install the agent. Once you do that, you also build repositories on your actual AppAssure core. And you can do that by going over here to configuration. You set up your repositories, and basically all that a repository is, it is a big chunk of hard drive space that you can set up to where all of your backups are going to go. And as you can see, another one of the wonderful features of AppAssure is the fact that the deduplication and the compression and all of that, we're getting a compression ratio of about 70% here, which is huge for all of you guys that may be pushing this to an off-site location or sending it somewhere else. And we all know that when you send it to an off-site location, you're paying per gigabyte, and so every single little bit of data counts. So whenever you throw in all of the deduplication and the compression ratio, you can end up saving yourself a lot of money in the end. And as you can tell here, we have a repository set up that's close to 2 terabytes. And when we come back over here to our home screen, we can see that actually we have 1.74 terabytes left, because really all that we're backing up is 361 gig. Now, with that being said, we're actually backing up a whole lot more than that. We just have a 70% compression ratio. We also have 381 recovery points. Recovery points are created every single time that a snapshot is created. Another good feature that I'd like to go over is the retention policy. The retention policy means that basically you can go into each machine and you can kind of tell it when it's going to do its backups. We have some customers that back up once every hour, so they're getting 8 backups per day. We have some people that back up once a night, some people once a week. You just kind of have to do that math yourself and see what you're willing to spend as far as data goes, because all of this sits on hard drives, right? It sits on a SAN. So you have to be smart whenever you're building up your retention policies and kind of align those with your business processes. Be sure that you're doing that absolutely correctly, so you're not backing up too little, but you're not backing up too much. Another thing is, and we've had to use this before with customers, obviously what good is a backup if you never have to use it at some point. Basically what you can do is a deal called live recovery. So let's say that one of your servers was to crash and you're bringing it back up. You can actually mount all of your recoverable data as a drive. So let's say that you give yourself a T drive, and that T drive is all of the data that you're getting back. So as all of that is being restored, it's actually available to you on your network, and you can go get it and bring things back. So you're not waiting 3 hours for a restore to get done. You can actually bring that up, see the files as they go, and pull them down as you need them, while the restore is of course still happening. Live recovery is absolutely one of the better features, in my opinion, on the AppAssure side of things. Another great thing, like I was talking about earlier, is the replication. Now, we don't have any of this set up. After the webinar, if any of you want to get with myself or Elena, we'll definitely give you contact information, and you can get with us and we can show you a demo as to how this works. We have a lot of customers that do outgoing replication. And what that means is that there is a core somewhere else. Some people set up another AppAssure core out there, but we also have third-party vendors that can actually take in the data from AppAssure and create that true off-site backup that some of our customers need. You can also have incoming replication, so you could be pushing all of your data out, but you could also be having it come in from another core, so you have 2 copies of your backups, providing true redundancy and failover, and that real capability of any type of natural disaster, or God forbid a fire, or tornado, or 3 feet of snow, as I'm sure that we're used to in Indiana this year. It's absolutely been crazy. Also, as far as all of the licensing goes, on this side of things, if you sign up for this, you basically have a section that you can go to on the Dell site to keep track of your licensing, see how things are going. You can add licenses, take away licenses, and back here on this home screen, I kind of wanted to jump back on looking at each and every single one of these machines. Shows you the last snapshot, shows you the amount of recovery points, and the total protected space as to what you're actually backing up. So just for fun, let's go into this link server that we had set up just for the purpose of showing you backups. Basically, here's what we got. What we're doing is we are backing up the volume labeled system reserved, and we're also backing up the C drive. So we're basically backing up system state and the C drive. As you can see, you can tell when our last snapshot was. You can see when our next snapshot is. And for our purposes right now, I do have encryption disabled, but I will say that another one of the features of the Dell AppAssure is the encryption, and it actually uses 256-bit. It's called Advanced Encryption Standard. So if you ever see that AES encryption, that's exactly what we're looking at. So on the inside of the network, this data is encrypted. Nobody can just go out there and get it and do whatever that they want to do with it. It's true encryption. That also goes with the replication. You may be thinking, well, hey, that's great that the data is encrypted on the inside. What about the data that I'm sending out to the cloud over the public internet possibly? And whenever you do that, that is encrypted. We're actually using SSL version 3, which is a very, very good encryption, and that is what we use to actually send your data throughout the cloud to wherever that it may be going for that replication. We also have SQL Server settings here. There is an Exchange agent. There's also a SQL Server agent, and you can actually go in and you can download emails on an email by email basis. Basically what I'm saying is if your CEO comes to you and says, hey, I lost 2 emails yesterday at 2:32 p.m., you don't have to take the Exchange server offline, mount a new mailbox store, everybody loses email from the day before. You can actually go out and you can actually get those emails. And you can go into the SQL Server settings here, and basically you can do the nightly log truncation, you can do the attachability checks, and basically every time that you do a snapshot from AppAssure, it's guaranteed that the data is good because it does verification of the data before it wraps up the actual snapshot of it, and so you know that that data is good. You can go in here and you can look at the recovery points, and you can take a pick. If you're going to do a restore, but you don't want to do a restore from yesterday, you want to do one from 5 days ago, you can go back and you can do that. And so it also tells you what repository that it's going to, all of these recovery points, tells you if it's encrypted or not, which I turned it off for our purposes for today. You can look at the events basically based on each and every single one of them. You can look and see what's successful whenever you get an error, and sometimes whenever it fails you can go in there and look. Usually it's because your repository is not big enough or you're out of space, but it also does back up open files, by the way, as well. And so probably jumping in a little too much to like everything that this does down on the machine level, so we're just going to go ahead and get back to some of these features that we actually do as far as the AppAssure side goes. As I said, it is web-based user interface, so there's no real true software that you have to install besides an agent on each one of the machines. So, you know, like back in the day whenever you're using products like a backup exec or something like that, you don't have to install a program that's going to be taking up a gig of space on your network. This does install on the IIS because it's got a web interface, but you can do everything from a web browser, including from each remote machine as we see right here. We also provide smart archiving with this, and by definition that basically means that can enable long-term data retention for SLA and regulatory compliance. Because for example, a law firm is going to need to keep backups a lot longer than maybe some other industries. And based on your business strategies and the way that you want to do business, you can basically back up everything as much as you want to or as little as you want to. You can change the schedules on the weekends, you know, back up more on the weekends than you would during the week or anything like that. We've got built-in event log monitoring. You can check that out. You can go in there and check that out. You can look at the different errors, the different ongoing tasks. Makes it real easy to troubleshoot and to be able to get to it. And also something we have noticed that a lot of people are messing with the Amazon EC2 cloud system. The Dell AppAssure is compatible with that. It can actually push the data off to there for any of you guys that may have that Amazon subscription. You can also export any protected or replicated machine to VMware or Hyper-V, and that can be done either ad hoc. It can also be done continuously. So if you were needing to restore a virtual machine on the fly, that's something that you could absolutely do, and you could do it easily. There's so many different things that you can do with AppAssure, and we could talk about this for 3 or 4 hours, but I promised that we would keep it down to about 10 or 15 minutes or so. And so basically, hopefully, the things that I went over was enough for you to want to know more. Like I said, our audience, we may have some IT professionals that are already using this, and they use it every day, and they just wanted to learn a little bit more, maybe see some things that they didn't know. Some of you out there maybe have never seen this at all before. But as far as a competitively priced, very, very robust backup system for your network, and ones that we definitely have a lot of experience with and a lot of expertise on, we can do this for you. Definitely feel free to get back with us. Once again, my name is Brian Crouch. My email address is bcrouch@itsnd.com, and you can also reach out to Elena Maddox. She is Maddox, AMADDOX @itsnd.com, or you can also call us at 317-713-2975 and ask for anybody there that you would like to. And so once again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time, and definitely reach out to us if you have any questions, and we absolutely look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. You guys have a great day. Thank you.